Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Industrial Engineering. In this video we are going to learn metal inert gas welding, metal active gas welding. In United States it is also known as gas metal arc welding. It uses a continuous wire electrode made up of same parent metal which is to be welded, and it is very useful if you are welding long length joints. Now some of you thinking how it is useful to weld long length joints. The answer is wire electrode comes in two types of packaging. First one is the wire drum and second one is the wire spool. These packaging have large amount of electrode wire in it. The length of electrode in wire drum is in kilometers. They generally measure in terms of kg. The weld pool is protected by a shielding gas like argon, helium, carbon dioxide or mixture of these gases. If helium and argon is used, then the welding is called MIG welding, and if carbon dioxide is used, then it is called a metal active gas welding. Now again the question comes how to do selection of the shielding gases. The selection of gases depend upon base material which is to weld, which I will explain you later in this video. It is classified as manual, semi-automatic or maybe fully automatic. Fully automatic can only be done by a robotic welding. This is the basic principal operation diagram of a MIG welding. The solid electrode wire is passing through nozzle and it is denoted in the red tube. This is the nozzle. The shielding gas is passed through this yellow tube and the current is passing through this blue wire. The arc is formed between the base metal and the electrode. The nozzle is generally used to transfer the shielding gases so that the atmospheric gases does not contaminate the molten metal. The MIG or mag welding process is a versatile technique suitable for both thin sheet and thick section components in most metallic material. An arc is stuck between the end of wire electrode and the workpiece. Melting to form a weld pool, the wire serves as a source of heat, while the arc at the wire tip and filler metal for the joint and is fed through a copper contact tube. And this copper contact tube is also called as contact tip, which conducts welding current into the wire. The weld pool is protected from the surrounding atmosphere. As I already told you, the shielding gas protects the molten metal from the atmospheric gases. The wire is fed from a reel by a motor drive, and the welder or machine moves the welding gun or torch along the joint line. I will explain you this motor drive later in my video. The process offers high productivity and is economical because the consumable wire is continuous. As I've already told you that we are using a wire drum or a wire spool for MIG welding, so we can able to produce a long length joints. The characteristics of MIG welding process are DCEP from constant voltage power source. So why we are using DCEP polarity, not DCEN polarity? Because DCP polarity is used because we require more heat input on electrode to melt the wire electrode, and our power source should provide us constant current. Electrode wire which is used is having a diameter ranging from 0.6 to 1.6. The shielding gases is used to protect the atmospheric gases, to protect the molten pool from atmospheric gases. Wire is fed in a torch through a conduit. Melting of electrode maintains a constant arc length and voltage. Wire feed speed is directly related to electrode molten rate. If you increase the wire feed speed, the rate at which electrode is melting automatically increase. The burn off rate is directly related to current, meaning the faster the electrode melts, the current will also increase. In this welding, you can also control the arc length. As I've already said that it is an automatic or a manual process. This is the gas cylinder in which a shielding gas is stored, which is connected to the gas flow. This is the gas flow regulator. The power source is connected to the wire feeder. This is the wire feeder. The knobs on power source is used to regulate the current and voltage settings. The wire feeder is having a knob. These are the knobs. Is used to regulate the wire feed speed. The torch is this is the torch and it is connected to the wire feeder. The second cable of this wire feeder is connected to the workpiece. This is the fume extractor which collects the fume at the time of the welding. This person is wearing its all PPEs like its personal protection equipments and a helmet for welding. This is the cooling unit of MIG welding machine. The cooling unit are of two types, air cooled and water cooled. This is a big topic to discuss. I will make a separate video on it and upload it onto my channel. The cooling unit is necessary to protect the power cable, gun and consumables from damage due to the radiant heat from the arc and the resistive heat from the electrical components in the welding circuit. It also protects the operator from heat-related injuries and provides more comfortable working conditions. Let's discuss the power source. The power source converts the main power supply to usable welding supply, which is direct current. Welding current is determined the wire speed. So it means if you change the wire speed, the welding current also changed. The arc length is determined by power source voltage level. It means when you change the voltage, the arc length gets also changed. The next equipment of MIG welding is the wire feed mechanism. The wire feeder mechanism has a drive motor and feed roll system to feed the wire. This feed system may be built in the power source or a separate unit. The wire feed units can be either two types, 2-roll or 4-roll drive, which I will explain you later in this presentation. Roll pressure must not be too high, otherwise the wire will deform and this result in poor current pickup in the contact tip. For an example, if you are using a copper coated wire, too high a roll pressure use a knurled roll increases the risk of flaking of the coating. There are three types of wire feeding system. So let's understand the first one, which is feed and pressure pinch rolls. So these rolls are divided into two types, 2-roll drive and 4-roll drive. In this image, this is the image of 2-roll drive. So the first roller is over here and the second one is here. And this image is for the 4-roll drive. The first roller, second roller, the third one and the fourth one. This is how the wire feeder actually looks like from the inside. The consumer wire enters from this inlet guide tube and comes out from this outlet guide tube. These four rolls are rotating to push the electrode inside the torch. The feed rollers are of three types. So the first one is our knurled roll. This one is a knurled roll, are used on tubular core wires which are easily deformed. So our second one is our V-groove rollers, are used for hard wires such as steel, stainless steel, where the wire shape is not deformed due to tensioner pressure. And our third one is our U-groove rollers. The U-groove rollers are used for soft wires such as aluminium. This type of wire can easily deform its shape, making poor current pickup at the contact tip. Our second type of feeding system is push-pull system. If you are using a small diameter aluminium wire which is less than 1 or equals to 1, this system is more reliable for it. In this system, a second set of roll is located in the welding gun itself. So in this image you can see the rollers are set inside this welding torch. The disadvantages of this system can be the increased size of the gun. Third type of feeding system is spool on gun. In this spool gun, the small wire feeder is directly mounted onto the torch, due to which the torch size is increased and the cost of wire is also increased due to small reel size. The spool gun is generally used when you are using a soft wire such as aluminium, and when you are using aluminium you should use dual drive system to avoid deforming of the soft wires. Regulator and the flow meter. The regulator regulates the cylinder pressure to usable shielding gas pressure and controls the flow of gas. The regulator may have a built-in flow control and have a separate flow meter. They have come in a single or multi-stage configuration, and normally they have either single gauge or two gauges. Welding gun. The welding gun transfers the current at the tip of the torch, and it also transfers the shielding gases to protect the weld pool. The welding guns are of two types, air cooled and water cooled. As I've already told you that I will make a separate video in detail, and I will upload it to my channel. This is the pictorial view of a welding torch. Uh, this is the shielding gas hose. The shielding gas hose is used to carry the shielding gases towards the gas diffuser. The, the gas diffuser releases the shielding gases at the time of welding from the gas nozzle. Water hose is used to protect the power cable, gun and consumable of torch from the heat at the time of welding. The power cable carries the current at the contact tip. This one is the contact tip. The gun trigger. When we press the trigger, the electrode from the nozzle starts coming out. The steel liner. The steel liner guides the electrode towards the nozzle. Contact tip. Welding current is transferred to the wire through the contact tip. The bore of the contact tip is slightly greater than the wire diameter. Contact tape is made up of copper alloy with additions of chromium and zinc, which make it harder than the pure copper. This makes the life of contact tape longer, especially when using spray and pulse mode. Modes of transfer is again a big topic, which I will explain you in part 2 of this video. I will upload part 2 very soon. Third point is long tape are also preferred with the pulse welding modes. Gas flow rate is set according to the nozzle diameter and gas to the workpiece distance, but is typically between 10 and 30 liter per minute. The welding gun liner. The selected liner must be compatible with the wire feed, that is flux core or stainless steel liner. If you are using aluminum wire, a Teflon or a carbon fiber liner is to be used. The liner must watch the size of wire being used to prevent poor feeding. Be aware that the one size liner may cover several wire sizes. Liner wear is often the cause of poor feeding and welding conditions. The consumable of the MIG weldings are fillers, the filler wire, and the gases. So for steel, carbon dioxide or generally carbon oxide and argon mixture is used because they provide us cleaner finished welds. For stainless steel, argon oxygen mixture provide us economical solution, but many bespoke gases containing helium and carbon dioxide can provide better transfer and finish welds. For on non-ferrous metals such as aluminum, copper, nickel and alloy, argon or helium gas is used as a shielding gas. I will make a second part of MIG and MAG welding process, and in part 2 I will cover topics such as modes of molten metal transfer, how to select shielding gases for MIG welding, and what are the variables which affect the process of MIG welding. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any doubts, ask me in comment section. I will answer them. If you understand the MIG welding, please like and share this video with your friends. For more information videos, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.